Hi yogis, thanks for tuning in to this Hatha Yoga practice. I am out here by the river, the Elizabeth River, and it's sort of an overcast day, but we're going to make the most of this practice. It actually feels pretty nice outside. So start your practice by coming to a comfortable seat and just centering, just allowing yourself to become present, preparing your mind and your body for your practice. So get comfortable here. Start to bring some awareness to how you feel in your body. How do your joints feel today? How do your muscles feel? And just settle in with that sensation, that feeling. Let go of the struggle and just allow yourself to be here. And we'll start to move a little bit. So some cactus breaths. Bring your elbows, your hands together, and with your inhale breath, open up. Draw the elbows back, the hands back. And as you exhale, bring the palms and the elbows together. Now sit up tall. On your inhale breath, open up. And as you exhale, bring your hands, your arms back together. Now we can add a little bit here with the spine. So your next inhale breath, you can look up and work a little back bend, open the chest a bit more. As you exhale, bring your palms together, elbows together, and bow. So just a little bit to add as you're breathing and you're moving, a little more movement through the spine. Move exactly with your breath, each inhale and exhale. Working here into your shoulders, just feeling the front line and the back line start to open up. Now just finish up that last breath that you were on. And then with your next inhale breath, tilt your chin up toward the sky. Just a little stretch here for the front of your neck. And then as you exhale, chin toward your chest, stretch the back of your neck. Sit up nice and tall here, long stacked spine. Now bring your chin back to level, and then take your ear, your left ear to your left shoulder. You might do a little adjusting until you find the right place, little stretch for the side of your neck. Now you can extend the right arm out, and look for that perfect spot, and then rotate your thumb down and back, and maybe bend at your wrist. So feel like you're pressing the wrist in the opposite direction of your head. Then release on that side and start to work the other side. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Find that spot that works best for you. When you're ready, you can extend the arm. A little higher, a little lower, forward or back with the arm might make a difference in what you feel. And then you can rotate, thumb down and back, bend at the wrist. And then notice that this side might feel different, the stretch a little bit different than the other side. Let the body gently warm up. And come on back through center. We'll start to do some barrel rolls. So take your shoulder toward your knee and make big circles with your shoulders, with your upper body. So feel rooted down through the hips, through the seat. And then from the waist up, you're making these great big movements. And we'll take one more great big roll in that direction. And then you'll start to change directions here. So if you were rolling clockwise, then you'll start to roll counterclockwise, still taking up lots of space here. Roll around, notice how you feel through your back. Maybe you feel this all the way into your hips. Now finish up that last rotation and come through center. Now from here, you're going to make your way into a tabletop. So tabletop, just bring the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips, and then start to work your cow. So press the heart forward on the inhale breath. As you exhale, roll into cat. Feel the shoulders separate a little bit. Move a little side to side if you like. On the inhale breath, you're coming into that cow tilt. Tip your tailbone up. Feel the back bend. And when you breathe out, feel that cat roll. Draw your tailbone down. Lots of movement here for the spine, working those muscles along the spine. You're also using some muscles in the front part. So as you're in that cat roll, feel those core muscles helping you round. And then make your way back to neutral and come into a modified plank. Knees are on the mat. It could be a full plank here if you want to. Knees can lift. You could also bring your elbows, your forearms down to the mat for a forearm plank. So choose one of those three options. And as you work through this class today, we'll do a few more planks. You're welcome to do any variation of plank that you like. Now, strong arms, little micro bend in your elbows here, strong shoulders. Pull the belly up toward your spine. Feel that your legs are active if the knees are lifted. And then start to come into your downward facing dog. Walk it out here in the beginning. Sway the hips a little side to side. So first, down dog is always a good opportunity to check in with your body. How is your body feeling today? Now refine that down dog, so come into stillness. As you look back, you'll see that your feet are about hip width apart. Spread your fingers nice and wide here and press down through the knuckle pads, so where your fingers meet the palm of the hand. Long spine, long through the back of the legs. Now we'll move just a little bit in this downward facing dog. So when you're ready, on your next inhale breath, you'll lift your hips and your heels, so press into your toe mounds. On the exhale, bend the knees, shins come parallel to the mat. On the inhale, lift back up, and then as you exhale, heels press down. You'll do this 2 more times. Lift the hips, the heels, bend the knees, lift the hips and heels back up, and then press into your down dog. 1 more time, move with your breath. Move at the pace that suits you best. When you're ready, look toward the top of your mat. Just start to walk your feet up to meet your hands. And ragdoll for a moment here. Now you could always have knees bent. Think about how you feel in the hamstrings or along the back line of your body. You could grab opposite elbows, sway a little bit, shake the head. Now you can release the arms, come up to standing, come up to your mountain pose. And then take a moment to build mountain. So always think about the foundation, the base of your pose, your feet here. Separate the feet about hip width apart and feel all 4 corners of your feet making a connection to the earth. On your inhale breath, reach up toward the sky. You're going to do a little star catcher here. Reach up through the right hand, alternate to the left side. Just stretch the side body. Feel your feet rooted down and stretch as you reach up from side to side. Now interlace your fingers at your low back. If that's not comfortable, you can always place your hands on your low back. That might feel better. Now draw the shoulders back and down and then start to fold forward. You can have the knees bent here as you're folding. Now think about pressing your hands up and then maybe to the front edge of the mat, to the top part of the mat. Now you can keep the legs bent or straight. If you're straightening the legs, maybe shift a little weight forward into your toe mounds. Feel the back stretch, feel the shoulders stretch. And then bend the knees as you come back up. Release the hands, come into your mountain pose. On your inhale, reach your arms high. And as you exhale, mountain. And bring your right arm in front of you. Arm comes across the chest. Left arm will grab the right arm. And then bring your your chin toward your shoulder, your right shoulder. So just a little stretch for the upper back. Same thing other side. So left arm reaches up and then across. You're going to hook at your elbows here. So right arm sort of cradles the left arm. And then left chin to your left shoulder. You don't have a left chin, so just bring your chin to your shoulder. And then release, maybe a couple of shoulder rolls forward and backward. See how you feel through your upper back. And then reach the arms high and fold forward. Coming into this nice forward fold here, you might let your head drop toward the floor. Inhale, come into your half lift, hands to your shins or thighs, flat back. Exhale, fold. And then as you're ready, step back with your right foot. So coming into a yoga lunge. As you come into the lunge, do some adjusting. Adjust your hips. Think about pulling your left hip back and your right hip forward. Light on your fingertips. So fingertips are just grazing the mat. Long spine. Strong legs here. And then step back into your downward facing dog. Now feel your hands planting to the mat. The heels don't have to touch here, but you're pressing them toward the mat. Now come into your plank pose. Remember any version or variation of plank. Knees on the mat, elbows on the mat. Come into a space of strength. Now keep this strength as you come all the way down to the mat. So core and arms stay strong. Working into a baby cobra. With your inhale breath, lift your head and your shoulders. Now be aware of your legs. Press down through the tops of the feet. You may feel the kneecaps begin to lift. Notice if you're holding on tight through your glutes. Soften those glute muscles. And you might hover the hands just above the mat. And then release. Let your forehead come down to the floor. Press yourself through your tabletop and make your way into child's pose. Child's pose, if you want a little movement, you can always sway the hips a little side to side. You can be still in child's pose if that's what your body prefers today. Coming through tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Stillness or movement, this is your practice. Look toward the top of your mat. Start to walk your feet forward. You could also hop the feet forward if that's part of your practice. Lingering a little longer in this forward fold, you could take a grip from behind, maybe at the ankles or the calves. Shift a little weight forward into your toe mounds if the legs are straight and you're looking for more, a little bit deeper stretch. Release the grip, reach up toward the sky, lengthen the body. And then come into your mountain pose. Your next inhale breath, reach up toward the sky. And as you exhale, fold forward. When you're ready, come into your half lift. And as you exhale, fold. This time the left foot takes a great big step back, coming into your lunge on this side. So make your adjustments. Feel that the hips are square to the front of the mat. Now notice your leg strength here. So press into the big toe mound of your back leg, your back foot. Feel that front leg strong. Isometrically, you're pulling your right leg back just a little bit. Feel everything engage. Now step it back into downward facing dog. Take a moment just checking in, feeling your alignment in down dog. And then come forward into your plank pose. And what does this plank look like? Doesn't have to look like the first one or the second one. Hold on to strength. Remember core strength and arm strength as you come all the way down to your belly. Now here you could do upward facing dog. I am going to repeat baby cobra, a little better for my back today. On the inhale breath, come into your up dog or into your cobra. So if you're in upward facing dog, the arms are straight, but as always, there's a little micro bend in your elbows. So you don't want to lock out your joints in your yoga practice. Now when you're ready, come back down to the mat. Coming into a modified plank from here, you could do full plank if you prefer. Now keep the core strong, arms strong, press up in a straight line. Now if you took modified plank, lift the knees from the mat, coming into your full plank, and then downward facing dog. Nice long spine here. Notice if you're a little more open through the back of your legs. You've done a few downward facing dogs. Make your way to the top of your mat. And then as you're ready, come up to standing. Reach out and then reach up and find your way into mountain pose. Reach up toward the sky as you breathe in. As you breathe out, fold forward. Half lift on the inhale breath. Folding as you exhale. And taking a big step back with your right foot. So you've already been here in the lunge, just feel the alignment. Sweep your arms to your sides and then reach your arms up toward the sky for crescent lunge. Sometimes it's called high lunge. Now square the hips toward the top of the mat. So sometimes that right hip might pull back, so pull the right hip forward just a little bit. Try to bring your heel, your right heel, directly on top of your toe mounds. And then press into the big toe mound of your back foot. So strong here through the low body. Keep your breath steady. And then change. Hands come to the mat. Step back into your plank pose. Doing a chaturanga here, so come halfway down. Just think about a push-up. And then press yourself up. Come into your downward facing dog from your plank. And then as you're ready, come to the top of your mat, hop or walk. Reaching out, reaching up, lengthen your body as you come to standing. We'll meet together in mountain pose. So we'll do that with the other side. Sweep your arms high and then fold forward. We'll take a half lift. And then as you're ready, you'll step back this time with the left foot. So use that muscle memory, thinking about what the lunge feels like. And then sweep your arms beside you, preparing for crescent. On the inhale breath, reach the arms up toward the sky. Now square your shoulders toward the front. Now gently pull the shoulder blades toward one another and then down toward your hips. At the same time, you're reaching up through your fingertips. Long through the spine, so bring your ears right over the shoulders. Maybe sink the hips a little lower. Adjust your body. And then as you're ready, release, hands come down to the mat. Come to plank and we'll double dip this time, so 2 chaturangas. As you exhale, lower halfway down. On the inhale breath, press up. Exhale, second chaturanga. Inhale back to plank. And then find your downward facing dog. Now down dog is a position that you're in often. So check in with those little places each and every time you come into down dog. So if for you, you feel like you're not engaging your core or you're not pressing into the knuckle pads of the hands, check into those places each time you're in down dog. Now come into your forward fold, make your way to the top of the mat. And then as you're ready, reach up toward the sky, lengthen, come into your mountain pose. And with your in breath, reach up. And with your out breath, fold forward. Long spine in your half lift. And fold. Take a big step back this time with your right foot. Now coming into crescent lunge, so sweep the arms back and then sweep high. Muscle memory, legs and hips are in the right place, shoulders in the right place. And then you'll take a side bend, so take your left hand to your waist and then start to reach up and reach over through your right fingertips. So this can be as bendy or stretchy as you like, as you want. Think about how you feel in your body. How is the stability in your low body from the hips down? You might sink the hips a little lower and reach over toward the left just a little bit more. And then come back through center. Take your hands to your waist. Now you might want to drop your foot forward a little bit. You're coming into stork balancing. So bring your right knee forward, knee in line with your hip. You can stay right here in this stork pose, so that's working balance. Or you can start to come into a warrior three or variation of warrior three. So press your heel back, right heel back. Hands at the hips, make sure that you're level through the hips. And then if you want to, you can change the arms. So maybe hands to prayer, maybe reaching forward, arms beside the ear, your true warrior three. Nice and strong here. When you're ready, you're releasing back into your stork pose, right where you started from. And then step it out. Now you might want to walk it out just a little bit here. Maybe give that standing leg a little relief. Now other side. On your inhale breath, reach up. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Come through your half lift. And then fold. Big step back with your left foot. And preparing for that crescent lunge. So as you're ready, arms can sweep back. And then arms reach up high. Trust your body to come into that perfect place. Hips are square, shoulders are square. And then you can start to play with that side bend. So right hand to your waist, left fingertips reach up and reach over. Now try to keep your shoulders stacked. If the top shoulder comes forward a little bit, draw your left shoulder back. Hips stay nice and low. And then notice where you feel this. So maybe the hip flexors, maybe you feel a stretch through your side body. Just let the body enjoy this position. And come back through center. And then take your hands to your waist, preparing to come into stork. So maybe you take a little hop, maybe two, and bring your knee in line with your hip, flex your ankle, and just stay right here if you want. If you want to work that warrior three or variation, you'll start to press your heel back, shoulders start to come forward so the body looks like a big capital letter T. Now be mindful of your left hip. Sometimes the hip connected to the lifted leg lifts up a little bit, so level the hips. Find the right place for your arms. Get nice and long here. Lift that heel a little bit higher. And then start to come back to your stork, hands at your waist, knee lifted. And release. Walk it out a little bit here if you like. Now you'll come to the middle of your mat, still facing the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your waist and then take a step forward with your left leg. And then press the top of your right foot into the mat. So there's a little bit of a stretch for the front of your foot. Or you might feel this on the top of your ankle, maybe your toes. And then bring your heel, right heel down. Square your hips to the front of the mat. And then start to come forward with a flat back. So you're hinging from your hip. Now here you might feel a lot on the back of your left leg. So just notice how you feel. You're only bending forward as far as your body wants you to go. So if it's too intense, you'll lift out of it just a little bit. Try to keep your spine long while you're here and try to keep your hips square. So you might pull the left hip back just a bit. Now come back to standing, step your left foot back and go to the other side. So right foot steps forward. Start with that stretch first. So top of the toes, top of the foot on the left side presses into the mat. And then you can bring your foot back flat onto the mat. Square everything toward the top of the mat. And then just hinge from your hip. So hands at the hips, that's always a handy place to be. So you can make sure that your hips are square and your hips are level. Sometimes the body cheats a little bit, trying to make this a little bit easier, but that's not what this pose is about. So you might pull the right hip back just a touch more. sure that spine stays nice and long. No rounding here. And then begin to come back up, step back, and find mountain pose. Now you'll turn to the long edge of your mat, and then just separate your feet nice and wide, preparing for a wide-legged forward fold. You can interlace your fingers behind your back, or you can just place your hands on your backside, and then begin to fold. So just like you did earlier with the feet closer together, you can start to press your knuckles up and over. If you prefer, you can bring your hands down to the mat. You can bring your hands to your feet. And just feel the back of the legs. Get a nice big stretch here. Shift a little weight forward into your toe mounds. If you're really tight, you can have bent knees. Just feel. Now come to a flat back. You can either have your hands at your waist or arms out wide, and then come back up to standing. So arms wide might be a bit much for your low back. Now bring your feet back together. You're going to turn to face the top of your mat again. Take a step forward with your left foot. So spin that back heel down just a little bit so the toes point to the front right edge of the mat. Now take a grip from behind. You could interlace the fingers. You could do reverse prayer, so that's palms together, fingertips pointing toward your head. And then you'll hinge from your hips here and come forward again with a flat back, just like you did before. Now that might be a different sensation now through your body. Notice how your chest broadens a little bit here, how it might feel different through the shoulders. I'll pull the left hip back, right hip forward just a little bit. You're trying to keep that front leg straight, hinging or bending at the hips just as much as you like. And then start to come back up to standing, release the grip. Both feet come together. Little movement through the hands or the shoulders. And then come to the other side. So right foot forward. Find the grip behind you, what feels most comfortable for you today. And then as you're ready, come forward, bend forward. Bending forward, keeping the spine straight. So we're all created a little bit different. Everyone feels a little different, looks a little different. Come into the experience of your body here. Notice where you feel the body changing, lengthening, or strengthening. Start to release the posture. Come back up to standing. Find your mountain pose. Maybe move a little bit. Turn to the long edge of your mat once again. Wide stance here for a wide-legged forward fold. Arms out wide if you like, hands to your waist, and then hinge forward. And once you hinge forward, bring the hands down to the mat. You're going to bend into your left knee. You can keep the hands on the floor here, or you can bring your hands up to your heart in prayer. You can have your toes up toward the sky on the extended leg, the right side. And just feel this nice stretch for your inner thigh. You might also feel a nice stretch on the back of your ankle at the Achilles. Now begin to change, come through center, and then bend the opposite knee. Now try to match what you did on the other side. So if you did prayer on one side, see if you can come back into prayer on the other side. If you're in prayer, try to bring the shoulders right over the hips, tall spine. And come back through center. Come into a flat back, and then come halfway up. Pause just for a moment. With your next inhale breath, come the rest of the way up. Now from here, you're preparing for warrior two. Now rotate your right toes toward the top of your mat. Put a bend in your knee. So I like to spend a little extra time with the foundation. Feet as far apart as feels right. Feel strength through both legs. Now notice the shoulders. The tendency is for the shoulders to reach toward the bent knee. Bring your shoulders over your hips so your spine is stacked. There's no curve or bend in the spine. Now notice the strength that you're using in your legs. So feel like you're isometrically pulling your feet toward one another. So the strength and the stretch you feel will be different on the right side and the left side. Keep the core engaged. Now reverse your warrior. Reach your fingertips forward and then up and then back. Now your opposite hand, left hand, can be sliding down your leg or maybe behind your back for a half bind. Reverse your triangle. So all you need to do here is straighten through the front leg, and then you might feel a little bit longer through the side body, right side body here. So reach back just a bit more. Begin to change. You'll come through center and then work into a straight leg triangle. So you might want to shorten your stance between your feet just a little bit as you come into triangle. Try to keep your hips and your shoulders on the same plane. So you can imagine there's a wall behind you. Your shoulders can touch that wall and your hips can touch that wall. Looking up toward your extended fingertips or down at the floor. What feels better for you today? How does your neck feel? Come back through center and then work into your warrior two. Sink the hips really low. Yeah, feel how strong you are. A release on that side, right toes forward, and then left toes toward the back of the mat. Spend some time here adjusting through your legs. Bend your knees, sink your hips low. So feel that you're opening here, or maybe you feel that you're opening through the inner thigh on the left side. Notice how your hip feels on the left side. So working strength, press down through the outside edge of your back foot. Both legs work here. Now notice your arms. Your arms are engaged. The biceps and the triceps are working. There is a small change through the shoulders, so gently feel the shoulder blades pull toward one another and then down toward your hips. So it's a subtle, gentle shift. Now reverse your warrior. Reach the palm up toward the sky. Reach up, reach back. Still nice and strong through the legs here, keeping those warrior legs, knee over the ankle. And then begin to straighten through your front leg, reversing your triangle. So feel your foot root down. Feel your left foot rooting down into the earth as you reach up and reach back. Letting that go when you're ready. You'll come back through center. Maybe change your stance just a little bit, preparing for your straight leg triangle. So reach out or reach forward through the the left fingertips, and then just hinge from your hips. So notice how your body is feeling. There is some core strengthening happening. So if you are using arm strength to keep your upper body lifted, try to use just core strength here. Now notice the length on the right side of your body. Maybe you're looking up to your fingertips. Now release that triangle, come back into your warrior two. So strong here in this warrior. And then release the warrior, rotate your feet forward, and then you can walk or hop your feet together. Now come to the back of your mat, reach up toward the sky, and then fold forward. Now let the hands come to the mat, and then start to walk yourself forward into your down dog. So just the hands walk forward. Use that muscle memory to know how far to walk the hands. Now with your inhale breath, you'll come forward into your plank and prepare for a side plank. So you'll come to your right hand and the outside edge of your right foot. Now you could have your left foot stacked on top of your right foot. If you bring your left foot forward a little bit, that might feel more stable. Try to bring your hips slightly forward. Reach up through the extended arm. Left fingertips reach high. Feel long and feel strong. Lots of strengthening here. Now come through your plank and prepare for the other side. So left hand, outside edge of the left foot. So as you're working into this side plank pose, you're working deeply into those core muscles, those strengthening and stabilizing core muscles. Also strength through your upper body. Notice your arm, notice your shoulder. Let the breath slow down. And then come on back through your plank. You can come into a tabletop. You're going to come down to your seat. So just sitting on your mat. Bring your feet out in front of you. Now nice and long through the legs. Press out through the heels, flex your ankles. And then just start to come forward with a flat back. You can walk the hands on the legs. Try to reach your heart toward your toes. And then on your next exhale breath, feel free to round. So your head can drop down toward your knees or your shins. You could use a little arm strength here, so you could hold on to your calves, your ankles, maybe the feet, and start to pull yourself a little bit deeper into that stretch. Feel the whole back line of the body from the heels to your head, and then walk yourself out when you're ready. Now coming next into, sometimes it's called double pigeon or 90-90. So you'll have your right leg on the bottom. It can be extended if you like. That might feel a little bit softer. Your left ankle is on top of your right knee. Now from here, you'll start to take a side bend. So take your left hand to the mat and then reach the right arm up and over. So the left ankle is on your right knee, and that might help you feel grounded or rooted through your low body, through your seat as you bend. Bend just a little bit deeper. Come through center and then work a twist. So your left hand comes to the bottom of your foot, left foot, and your right hand can come either to your low back or to the mat. Sit up tall as you twist. Bring that right shoulder back a little bit more. Release the twist, come through center, and then you'll start to fold forward. So you can round through your spine here. You could let your hands rest anywhere that's comfortable, maybe on your knees, or maybe your hands just come down to the floor. You can let the head drop. Feel the hips, and as you're rounding forward, notice if there's any sensation or stretching through your back. Soften your shoulders. Notice if you're fighting yourself in this pose. And begin to release, come back up. Now unwind the legs. You might want a little movement before you go to the other side. And then as you're ready, this time the right leg will be on the bottom. You can have your right knee bent, or you can have the leg extended. You decide the comfort level that's right for you in this double pigeon pose. I'll start with the side bend. So your right hand comes to the floor, left arm reaches up and over. So just enjoy the stretch. Where are you feeling it? Maybe you feel it down toward your hip. Maybe you feel it along the side body, up toward the ribs. Maybe all the way through the back of your arm to your fingertips. Coming back through center, preparing for the twist. So take your right hand to the bottom of your right foot, sit up tall, and then work the twist in your spine. You can look behind you if you like. Notice the left shoulder, see if you can pull back just a little bit more, twisty just a little bit more. And then come back through center and start to fold through center. So double pigeon 90-90 is a very big hip opener. Double pigeon because when you're in our standard pigeon, you are lying on your belly and you're doing just one leg at a time. One knee is bent or folded. And here we've got both legs bent. Find your exhale breath, and in that exhale, see if you can deepen into the stretch, into the posture. Begin to lift out. Release the legs. Pedal it out here if you want to. Now come on to your back. So if you want to do a little bit of work first, reach forward and then come about halfway back. You could lift the heels off the mat if you want even more work. So just feel that your core is strengthening here. And probably feel the muscles on the front of your belly working. And then with your in-breath, come forward, heels come down. The next time you breathe out, coming back, this time a little bit lower than before, heels can lift. Now, if you don't want to do this at all, just go ahead and come onto your back. We'll all meet there eventually. When you're ready, start to reach forward, release. And then nice and slow, come all the way back onto your mat. As slow as you like. And when the head is on the mat, come into a full body stretch, reach the fingertips back, the toes forward. You might wiggle a little bit here. Now, preparing for your bridge pose, bring your heels close to your body, feet about hip width apart. You could have your hands or your arms flat on the mat. I like to bend at the elbows, these goalpost arms, and then start to lift your hips from the floor. As you lift the hips, notice what's working here. You can feel the hamstrings strengthen a little bit, feel your glutes working some strength through your back muscles. If it's comfortable, you can shimmy the shoulders in just a little bit, open up through the chest. Now keep your breath moving steady. Keep the body strong. Notice if the hips began to sink a little bit, try to press through the feet and lift up. When you're ready, release the hips down to the mat. If you like here, you could windshield wiper the knees side to side. Just preparing for second set of bridge pose. So for second set, you'll set up exactly the same way. Lift the hips as you're ready, and then some options here. So you could interlace your fingers behind your back. You lift your leg up toward the sky. So I'm starting here with the right leg lifted. Now if you've lifted the leg, try to keep your hips level and try to keep the hips high, just as high as you can. Now, if you lifted that right leg, bring the right leg down, and then the left leg can extend up toward the sky. Notice if there's any tension or pressure on your neck. You're not pressing into your head here. It's the foot on the mat, it's the shoulders on the mat, the strength through the legs and the back. Let your left foot come to the floor if the leg was extended. And then bring the hips down to the mat. Little movement here, knees side to side if you like. Start to bring the knees toward your chest, flex your ankles, use some arm strength to pull as you press the shins up with leg strength, so pulling and pressing. You could release that a little bit. You could rock side to side or draw circles with the knees. Now bring the feet to the mat, separate your feet wider than your hips, and then just windshield wiper the knees side to side. So feel into your hips, feel into your low back. And then the next time that your knees are to the right, just let your knees fall and stay there. Now you can also bring your right foot on top of your left knee if that feels okay. So feel into the hips, feel into your back. Just let your body pause here and settle here for a moment. Feel some ease through your hips, through the low body. Now if you've got the foot on top of your knee, release that. Come through center, feet are still wider than your hips, and then let your knees fall to the opposite side. Now if you put your foot on top of your knee, you could try that also here. So it'll be your left foot on the right knee. Now in my body from day to day, this doesn't feel good on both sides. So some days I take that variation, the foot on the knee, just on one side. Today, everything feels okay. So I've got both sides with the variation. release the foot back to the floor if you took the variation. And then come on back through center. And take any movement here that you like before coming into Shavasana. So if you like to use props, now's the time to get a bolster or a blanket if you're using that in your Shavasana pose. Traditionally, the legs are wider than the hips. Arms are out wide with the palms up. If your legs are straight, let go of all of the tension. You may notice your toes starting to fall in opposite directions. Take a moment to scan through your body, just noticing all of the beautiful work your body did. Notice those places that feel a little bit stronger or a little more open as a result of your practice. Notice the way your mind was focused throughout your practice, and notice now how easy it is to find that simple place where you feel at peace. Enjoy your Shavasana just as long as you like. All of the work that you do during the practice is preparing you for this moment. So if your mind and your body have found that special place where you feel connected, where you feel present, then just stay right there. No need to move. It's always an honor. You allow me into your space, into your home, into your practice. The love and the light within me honors and recognizes the love and the light within you. Namaste.